Welcome to my sacred space. I'm Ace the Yogi, a holistic sexual health coach and yoga instructor rooted in Pan African thought and embodied practice. This is my year of return, a living archive of my journey through West Africa. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you. When you walk through a place like this, you start to feel that nothing here is passive. The land feels awake. The trees feel present. Even the air itself feels as though it is aware. That way of understanding the world around us can actually be described as animism, which is the deeply held belief that everything in the natural world, such as plants, animals, land, water, and even ancestors, are alive, carry spirits, and hold their own agency, with humans living in ongoing relationship with them through care and respect.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
Animism is actually the oldest form of human spirituality or religion, and it's also the worldview that Vodun comes from. Vodun is an indigenous West African spiritual system rooted in present-day Benin and Togo. It centers land-based spirits, ancestors, sacred forests, ritual lineages, and community life. Practice stays connected to oral tradition and memory of the land. You'll often hear Vodun confused with Voodoo or even Ifa. Though these practices are all connected, they are not the same. Vodun developed here in West Africa alongside Ifa, which comes from the Yoruba cosmology of present-day Nigeria. While Ifa centers on divination and destiny, Vodun centers on the spirits of the earth. However, here in Ouidah, Benin, they have lived and worked together for centuries. Voodoo, on the other hand, takes shape in the Americas, specifically Louisiana and Haiti, through the displacement and survival of enslaved Africans taken during the transatlantic slave trade. That distinction matters because what you're seeing in this forest isn't symbolism, it's relationship. It's memory held by the land. The sacred forest of Kpassè holds the ancestral memory of that which came before it and continues unbroken, carrying the land as equal part of the bloodline, inseparable from the flesh. This is a Vodun ritual site that carries protection and deep accumulated wisdom. This living shrine is understood as a place inhabited by ancestral spirits and shaped by ritual pathways that safeguard the city and its people. These intentional walking routes guide ceremony, prayer, and offering, allowing the body to move in ancestral rhythm while engaging the land, spirits, and deities. Told through oral tradition, King Kpassè is remembered as a founding ancestral figure of Ouidah, someone whose presence did not leave the land but settled into it. When threat approached the kingdom, he chose to remain with the forest, merging his spirit with the earth rather than passing through death in a familiar way. His life force transformed into an iroko tree, binding his presence to the land and anchoring protection there. This act marked the forest as ancestral ground, carrying spiritual authority and ongoing reverence for generations to come. In West Africa, the iroko tree is known for its medicinal properties, with practitioners utilizing its bark, roots, and leaves to treat a variety of physical ailments, while its presence is believed to restore the spiritual balance of those who seek its shade. This ancient tree associated with King Kpassè is said to grant the wishes of the pure-hearted, channeling its healing and restorative power to those who leave offerings in good faith. Ultimately, the forest carries his name because it holds his spirit. It exists as a place of protection, initiation, and regeneration, where ancestry lives through the land rather than through a grave. Within Ouidah, the sacred forest and the Python temple operate as connected ecosystems, one holding ancestral ground while the other holds living embodiment, together sustaining lineage, balance, and remembrance across generations. As you enter inside the forest, you are greeted by Legba. Legba is the guardian of thresholds, crossroads, and communication. He mediates between human life and the spiritual world, opening and closing access to sacred spaces. The role of the guardian of the crossroads is one of humanity's oldest spiritual concepts. The same sacred role echoes across the ocean and Nordic mythology through Heimdall, the all seeing guardian of the Bifrost, which is the rainbow bridge connecting worlds. Two traditions, the same cosmic truth. Someone must protect the threshold between worlds.
Be warned, I will honor my sworn oath to protect this realm as its gatekeeper. If your return threatens the safety of Asgard, Bifrost will remain closed to you.
In Yoruba tradition, the same spiritual force is known as Eshu or Elegba. In Vodun, Legba governs movement in all its forms: movement between worlds, movement of breath and speech, movement of people, ideas, and spirit. His displayed erection is not meant to be taken literally, but as a metaphor that shows cosmic life force. It signals that pathways remain open and life continues to flow, as life force requires open passage, and fertility depends on the ability of seed, blood, breath, spirit, and birth to move through. Fertility here refers to cosmic energy that moves through everything. In Yoruba cosmology, this force is known as Ashe. Within the sacred forest of Kpassè, Legba stands as protector and gatekeeper. He marks the space where movement between worlds becomes possible and holds the conditions for entry, ritual work, and presence to happen with respect and permission. Another guardian present in the forest is Zangbeto, known as the guardian of the night or the night watchman. Long recognized across southern Benin as protectors of community life, they move through streets and villages as a form of spiritual security, carrying responsibility for safety, balance, and order. During Vodun days and ceremonies in places like Grand Popo, their presence becomes visible through rhythm and motion. Zambikdang is understood as a vessel for spirit, connecting the physical and spiritual realms. This understanding is reinforced through ritual moments when the straw form is lifted and revealed as empty, while the force itself continues to move. Here in the sacred forest, that presence remains anchored as watchfulness, holding the forest as a protected space where spirit stays alert, responsive, and nearby. Moving just beyond Zambikto stands a silent observer. Agbadjigan, remembered in the history of the kingdom of Ouidah as the spy for the king. In oral traditions, he served as a trusted official and spiritual guide for King Kpassè. His form carries two faces, one at the front and one at the back of his head, allowing him to see in all directions at once. In the forest, Agbadjigan ensures that no one enters with harmful intention. He watches what approaches from ahead and what lingers behind. His image carries a moral lesson about the double face of humanity. The front face reflects the friend, the one who smiles and shows goodwill, while the back face reflects concealed motives, the intentions that reveal themselves only with time. Standing before him, you're reminded that sacred ground requires awareness, not only from the spirits who guide it, but from us who are moving through it. Moving from that watchful presence, we step into the realm of the sky. At the source of this current is Sangbo, a cosmic force of the atmosphere in the infinite sky, an androgynous deity containing both male and female principles within one vast identity. As the parent force of the heavens, Sangbo holds the potential for creation and destruction, rain and thunder, silence and storm. Sangbo carries the total power of the sky within a singular, expansive presence. When that power descends to earth, it manifests as Xêvioso, the son of Sangbo, known in Yoruba cosmology as Shango. Xêvioso is the storm in motion, the energy that touches ground, strikes trees, and speaks through thunder. In the sacred forest, this force appears as two distinct statues, a male and a female form, because divine power often expresses itself through duality. The male embodies thunder, the voice of authority and command, while the female embodies lightning, the strike and illumination of action. Together, they demonstrate that justice moves through sound and light through voice and execution. As members of the Sky Pantheon, they carry celestial judgment into the forest, holding balance, accountability, and protection in partnership. What became the pinnacle of my experience in the forest was the Ancestral Shrine, guarded by Don Ayido, the Rainbow Serpent. In Vodun cosmology, Ayido is the great serpent who helped shape the earth at the beginning of creation. It is said that when the world was formed, the serpent coiled beneath it to hold it steady, preventing the land from collapsing into the sea. Ayido lives in the depths of the underworld, and when it rises or shifts to drink or refresh itself, a rainbow appears in the sky. The rainbow marks the movement of that force between realms. The serpent coils in a perfect circle, biting its own tail. This image carries the union of opposites in the dual nature of reality. Ayido is often described as a twin force. The masculine appears as the rainbow in the sky, associated with the heavens and the sun, and the feminine lives in the reflection of that rainbow in the water, and in the serpent's coil within the earth. Together they hold balance. Together they sustain regeneration. Placed before the shrine, this Ouroboros marks the space as cyclical and regenerative. What happens here follows a pattern of return, entry, dissolution, renewal, and continuation. The serpent and the architecture speak the same language. Creation feeds itself, ancestry renews itself, and spirit moves forward by cycling back. The ceremony shrine near this energy has long served as a space of initiation, instruction, and transformation within the sacred forest. Darkness, enclosure, and silence prepare individuals for spiritual responsibility. The surrounding animal figures signal guardianship and authority, marking the space as protected. Standing before it, I couldn't help but notice how the structure actually mirrors female genital anatomy. The central opening synonymous with the vaginal canal, the crowned focal point above resembling the clitoris, and the curved structure reminding me of the inner and outer labia. In many West African sacred architectures, the body functions as a temple for space. The opening aligns with passage and emergence. The enclosed walls holding containment and protection. The crowned form concentrates generative life force. The shrine carries a birth oriented logic where entry becomes transformation. After passing through this space of birth and transformation, the path returns to the entrance of the forest, where the Babalawo awaits. If the forest holds Ouidah's memory, the Babalawo gives that memory language. He is the father of secrets, an oracle, and the divine interpreter of what lives here. He reads the language of the Iroko tree and translates the messages of King Kpassè and the spirits who reside in the forest. The rustling of leaves, the shifting of air, and the subtle movement of presence become guidance for the living. You enter the forest to encounter spirit. You stop at the Babalawo to understand what you encountered. In traditional consultation, the Babalawo holds the final word. He gathers what was seen, felt, and carried through the forest and organizes it into wisdom that can travel with you. In Ouidah, it is customary to seek blessing or clearance before leaving sacred ground, to pause, to listen, and to receive this wisdom. As our journey continues, nothing given here is left behind. The memory of this place travels with us in mind, body, spirit, and in how we remember. With understanding received and blessing granted, we step back into the world carrying what the forest entrusted to us. Remembrance. I love you. If this video resonates with you, I invite you to like, share, and follow for more reflections from my year of return. I'll continue sharing stories, teachings, and embodied experiences from my time in West Africa and beyond, grounded in ancestral wisdom, spiritual practice, and holistic care. I love you.